it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go. Yeah, let it go, yeah. Let it go. Help me let it go. Master Jesus, let it go. Yeah. Help me let it go. Go, 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 go. Oh, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give it all to Jesus. Let him take control. Just sit and watch it. I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No way to wait till you have to let it go. Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Let it go. Your wife is getting married to another man. Your husband are falling in love with another woman. Don't let it bother you. I've said let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome. I'm Afonso Zay of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. This is a regular edition of Freedom Watch program every Sunday right here from the New England Bureau. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining us this beautiful Sunday evening.
When I'm married, you will not build your own children.
Esoteric, I can't wait to have you here. You are part of the Voices now, so you got to let's see how you're going to play that male feat. Been doing an extraordinary job monitoring the convention held in the Sunshine State of Florida, where my own boss serves as the keynote speaker here. So we need to go much deeper into what is happening in the SAPO, United Support Association. That's part of our obligations as well, to make sure that below our feet are okay, then we can go outside of our own bell here. Welcome, I'm Afonso Zay to all of our few viewers. And very shortly, my group, they were going to be joining us here.
Yeah. Mighty blow. Holla, holla. Nobody do it like you do it, you a true God. Yes. You always hear me when I say my prayer with few words. But Genesis, and they plenty in this new world. Read the power every day, now while I'm still a good boy. Jehovah bigger than your problem, so just let it go. Just keep on praying, he will make your blessing overflow. To be the best and more the rest, you gotta pray more. The God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the God of mighty blow. But there is power in your blood, now while I'm giving praises. Yes. I gotta dance that dividends, they think I'm getting crazy. But love is how you make it better, may not be easy. Every time I sing, I on my knees, begging God for mercy. Thank you for your God blessing and forgiveness. You solved my problem, Lord, you took me from the wilderness. Now only you can feel my struggle when I'm really stressed. So my papa bless me, then my enemy they get invest. No matter what the problem is, man, just let it go. The delay is not your denial, everybody know. Just keep on trusting in Jehovah, he will give you more. He took me from the grass, he can take you from the rock and roll.
All right, what a beautiful music. Hovering to right here on the Diaspora Informative News Network. I'm Afonso Zay right here this afternoon. Time check here in the East Coast is 4:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and is locally in Liberia after 8 p.m. And the rest of the world, we want to welcome you. I'm Afonso Zay of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv.
People are suffering, lying in the hospital. Suffering from all kinds of sickness, Lord. Lord help them.
Lord help me. There are a lot of people suffering all kinds of sickness. Sometimes we want to question and judge the old man out there, but who can we take the complaint? Why other people oil in the palm oil, in the alcohol oil, and other people fingers are just dry from day to night?
Suppression, spread of denial, spread of depression. Let it go, man. Oh, I'm tired. Pack your low and go. If you're picking, take your chemo. Let it go. Your best friend
Well, want to take your chamo, let it go. And this is why people don't let go. Want to take your chamo, that's one that the hell going to break loose because nobody want to lose their stronghold.
Just let it go. If someone killed for you before, yeah, they kill your mother and they kill your father. They kill your wife and make your children homeless. Oh yeah. They kill your husband and your children fatherless. Let it go. Let it go. Mama, let it go, yeah. Papa, let it go. It is painful, let it go. You borrow someone your money. Oh, mama, they don't want to pay. You are become a boo-boo man. Your best friend is now your secret enemies. Your money.
All right, let's get this program going.
Oh,
my Lord.
At your job side, they call you for nothing. I say in your family, they call you useless. But one day, Jesus will make you useful.
One day, you know, they got a saying, when the going gets tough and the tough gets going, man, you are called all sorts of names. Nobody, people try to define your directions in life. They try to forecast who you're going to be. They will make predictions. They become soothsayer, fortune tellers. He would not do this. She would not do this. But look, no one can. Do not allow anybody to define you. To be able to adequately define yourself. That's what life is all about. If you get edge to those people to determine who you are, then you make them to gain edge over you. And that's why sometimes we have to be proactive. We have to get ahead of the game so that we ourselves will be able to determine our direction. This is your informative news magazine, Freedom Watch, coming to you live from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio. I am your host and got-time presenter, Alfonso Zienso. We want to welcome many of our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining and sharing your beautiful Saturday mornings, evening with us, depending to where you are. Let's get the talking point going. Let's get ready. Very shortly, my team of analysts, political commentators, representing the different political and independent backgrounds. So we're going to get the microphone open here this evening to take a comprehensive review on some of the news making headlines. And of course, you, our viewers and listeners, there's no way you can be left behind because it is your country. It is my country. None of us have dominion over the Republic of Liberia. And those who try to take that cap and put it over their head as if Liberia is one of their own, that's a complete illusion. Let's get the ball rolling. Okay, as you know, the Rabos International Airport, now the President of the Republic of Liberia ordered intervention. Let's see here and let's bring it as well. The most liberal on this network is here again. Samson Bronto for Saxon Sacramento. Right.
Hi, I'm Scott Kelly, a former NASA astronaut, and I'm on a mission to help your kids
Let's
learn
see here.
coding and
That's
math
a
this
little
summer.
commercial that intruding, but that's why it's happening. So let's go right back to A here. That give you a little sense. And then we're going to have the conversation. The Lpr is already here.
They there for inspection. We'll do inspection. Maybe the public representative will say something regarding the release.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. has said completed the process to get our contract on the road. So we have actually come with it.
Let me bring. I think the professor gonna love this one here. So let me bring in the professor because the Lpr is already panicking here. Let me move this here to Professor Asese Labozawo. Yo.
I think you saw that we have got everything here.
Okay, let's get the ball rolling, man. Okay, so, folks, we want to welcome all our viewers and listeners across the globe as the President of the Republic of Liberia ordering what interventions of one of the major outlet gateway to the country economy and to the nation political seat of Monrovia. I'm not sure whether the Lpr is happy, but he's an engineer. Let's want to see what it is you're going to translate or relate to anybody. What Professor Asese Labozawo is a senior contributor of the Liberia Public Radio, and not just on the Liberia Public Radio, is a strong supporter of the ruling CDC, and not just on the aid. He's the owners of 2 schools in Liberia, making educational impact into the generations of the Republic of Liberia. And you have the town crier from Totan here, sitting in Sacramento, giving figure drawing with his hand. This not going this is not doing that. His own sister river bridge near Totan is falling apart. He can't go there. He sits in Sacramento and diagnosed. The Lpr, good evening. What a beautiful introduction. I'm not sure what is going down the wire with you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. So, and good evening, Professor. And I hope the Central Right will join us here very shortly. But thanks. The introduction of this platform here tonight, it's a good one. Except I really. I hope we would have started from somewhere else. Now you put me to come out and make a statement, and I will do so as an engineer, not necessarily as a contributor to this wonderful platform, but as an engineer. To be honest with you, these roads, especially once you get outside of Monrovia, you're no longer talking about these added roads. These are roads that are supposed to last. And these are roads, once you get outside of Monrovia.
What supposed to last? What is the interpretation?
Well, because if you're going to have Minister McGill to now represent the infrastructure part or infrastructure components of Liberia pro-poor agenda, then it's laughable. He has the ability, of course. You don't have to be an engineer to manage. But Minister Mabutu been dead for more than 3 months or so now, and we have an IT minister, a very capable lady. I've spoken with her. She's very knowledgeable as well. But she should be in the lead, number one. And second, these, like I said, you can do these type of publicity shows for roads that are in Monrovia, because those you can maintain and replace and at will. But the main failure of these roads, these main arteries of Liberia connectivity to the main city, these are not roads you can say we'll build in 3 months. And you can only bring Minister McGill and Minister Samuel Twa standing there to do what? to say this is the amount of money we're going to give you guys? I understand if you're coming to tell us how much this road going to cost. And if he asks that, who is he? Does he know anything about estimating the road cost? He only supposed to provide the means of payment. That's it. What is he doing over there? Doing what? This is just to show. Now, on a very serious note, Mr. So, on a very serious note, when Minister Mabutu was when he died here, there was a lot of rumors that was going around. All kinds of stuff. That people put medicine in your face and all the kinds of stuff. And that because they wanted McGill wanted it to be minister, what have you. But when he's showing himself like this, then it makes some of us who used to doubt those type of rumors start thinking, well, wait a minute, is it what it is? He's not an engineer. He can be a manager, but you cannot come out a role to Cape Mount, one of the major artery in the connectivity activities of Liberia, one of the major role, and you're going to come, what are you presenting? You presenting plans to the community? No. What are you presenting? Are you presenting ideas? And Minister McGill and Samuel to have been going around lately, presenting himself to be the technocrat of the Liberian infrastructure, and that's laughable. And if they continue to do that, Mr. So, I see this thing here. It's not going to go well. It's not going to go well. Look at the kinds of stuff the president went on today. They're supposed to be doing, and I'm sorry, I'm going on here, but please just give me a minute. They went on a tour today. I think some kind of market where Kalasco was videotaping. The president was asking more engineering questions than the engineers themselves. The president, who is not an engineer, was asking. One of the interesting questions he asked was this: How hard is this ground? In other words, he wants to know what are the ground can support the weight of the building. This is the president who is not an engineer. And guess what? They was yeah. Well, if it's so, what have you done? Some sort of a soil analysis that you can explain to the president? The president asking, is it ground hard or is it soft? Oh yeah, the ground hard. One of the interesting things you look at when you look at that video, and if you look at any other video, what they're doing a commercial building in the United States or any other place, you're supposed to have stakes. Survey stakes that tells you what the final grade gonna be. And the president asked that question. These people are laughable. The president, who is not an engineer, asked that question. Said, how high this thing gonna be now? Because there's nothing to mark. He can see what the final grade gonna be. And the president, like I keep telling you guys, this young man is very smart. He's very intelligent. He asking, look, just. And he was directing that. You see this player? He said, the player, if you put a row, then the people come from the street over. He can visualize that in his mind, for goodness sakes. And you have people who are supposed to be engineers to be able to visualize that. They're not even able to do that. This is something that I felt so bad this afternoon that I thought when I come on here and I thought maybe this question would have been the last so that I can carry on like this. But Mr. So, this is laughable. This is laughable. They don't have no stake. They don't even know what the final grade going to be. The engineer, they have, the grade, that the final, are you serious? No drainage system, nothing. And this is, I'm serious. Go and watch the video. This is what the president said. And I will shut my mouth. He said, wow, but they want up when it rain, they think we won't build a quick way. It rain, they hope there will be a model. You see how smart he is? Because he didn't see anything to indicate to him that if it rain, there will be a drainage system. This is laughable.
Ooh, what a great United Nations, which General Assembly is coming out now, introductions of the occasion. That's the most liberal on this network. Folks, welcome in the house of LPR. That's the Liberal Progressive. Let's take a quick run tour, as we usually on some of the news making headline, and I'm going to bring in the professor. I am Afonso Zienso. Okay, there you have it, folks. Some of the news making headlines here quickly. Rwanda troops help Mozambique to recapture a key port by the jihadist group. Oh, Articles free dozens of detainees over election violence. That's the power, that's the strength of negotiations, of meeting and putting aside the political governments. That was one of the requests recently when former President Laurent Gbagbo met one-on-one with sitting President Alassane Dramane Ouattara. That was one of the things that he put forward as well. Tactical in series of attack in northern Burkina Faso. Oh my good. Tikri rebel sees UNESCO site of La Bella in Ethiopia Amarat regions. I'm Afonso Z and sort of the Liberia Public Road. Those are some of the new captured our attention. We want to welcome you here. This is the information. Okay, Professor, good afternoon. Let me bring you in. How is your Sunday so far?
Good afternoon, Alfonso, and good afternoon, Mr. Big of Progressive. The song has been wonderful. Great.
Okay. Let me acknowledge here some of our folks here. Mr. Tata Yusuf is our prompter, and it's amazing because I've been tracking our data on the Facebook. Yusuf is in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not a single day when we are on, and he will even introduce to say welcome. So he's one of our top 10 with Tanyan Tai, Sylvie, and other folks. They have maintained this position for over 3-4 months now, top 10. And this is what coming from my man from the liberal state, as Samson Toll was unleashing his red meat, his son by this Sunday here. Mandwala say hi to all CDC officials. Pre-campaigning for 2023, I am sure Liberians will sack down come 2023 election. So, and let's welcome our own man here, Dustin Brahma. Say I'm following from Vanyamanta, Lofa County. Dustin, thank you so much for joining us here. And our own guy there, Ibrahim Okali, is also based in the nation's capital of the Republic of Liberia. And to all of the rest of the folks, look, Professor, it's gonna get ugly comes 2023. It will be dirty. It will go off the rail. But eventually, we will get there. Now, and of course, let me welcome Madam Agnes Samkar Mulbat right here at the Good Events. It's one of our prime-time members, also on the top 10 list. Look, this is how it's going to look like. And it have already started here. People talking in the quarter. Are you concerned with that the intervention should that be done? You listen to the Liberal here. He went on extensively beyond the time limit. Beyond the time limit. And there was no interruption. But this is a little bit we're gonna put out here. By the time you start, something will creep under his skin and he will begin to unleash again. But I hope in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, that will not happen here this evening because we all listen to him patiently. So, Professor, saying what you're saying here, is that a pre-campaign to say this president is a by-road medicine, by-road, how you call it, or whatever it is here? Is it a strategic position here? The CDC, we saw ground being PHP now is about to benefit for whatever it is. It's all over the place, all over. We can see it, we see it happening. But would that come to realization? Or are these just politically motivated to keep the ruling establishment on top of the game? Are you concerned?
I'm not. I'm not concerned. And just why I'm not concerned. I know that the president we have campaigning on a mantra of infrastructure development.
The professor, your audio is not.
You want to check your audio a little bit?
Is it better now?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, this guy gonna be picking on you. So just watch your back here this afternoon. Believe me.
I might have to get a microphone because apparently my audio from my laptop is not working unless I come very close to it. Am I better now?
Much better, yeah.
And when I come here like this, do you hear me better? Is it okay?
No, you're laying back as though you have won the election. You haven't won the election yet, Professor. Lean into us if you don't mind.
All right. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I won an election. We won an election. That's why I gave us the mandate to rule the country for 6 years. You know, the other 6 years is also in the camp. But anyway, okay. So look, I think the president from day one has been laser focused on infrastructure development. And so what he's doing now, I don't think is campaigning. I think it's more predictable that he would have been doing it. And so that's what he's just doing. The president, I know in several conversations with him, he told me that when he thinks about, I think, and I've said this on the show several times, when he thinks about SASTAN, he thinks about Florida, the landscape, and everything. He doesn't understand why that, beauty, that wonderful landscape was not tapped into so that it would become a tourist attraction for Liberia. And he was focused on making sure that some of those things will come to play, play in his leadership. And so that's what he's doing. He's not campaigning. You're going to see more of that. When a government takes over, there are challenges it's hard to overcome. There was a challenge of making sure that you have to hire people, put people in the right places. You had issues about education in the country, the healthcare system. You had the problems coming in with the coronavirus. So there have been competing challenges this president has had to compete with, have had to engage. And so now I think maybe he's getting the fiscal space, maybe he's getting to be able to stretch a little bit and get to do some of the things that he would have loved to do from day one, but he was unable to do. I see that's what he's doing. Now, to the liberal progressives' argument concerning the team of officials who are there inspecting projects, Samson, you know that's just for the show. And those are not the people who are building the roads. They go there.
Where are the people who building the roads then?
They are with them, but they're not the one going to be speaking. Samson knows it that when the governor of California is going to announce a $10 billion project, he's the one, a road infrastructure project, he's going to announce it. The engineers will already have done their work, prepared the design, but it's the governor who will be announcing it. It's not the engineer who's going to come out there and be announcing and talking about it. So Minister McGill is not going to be fixing any road. Minister Tour is not going to be fixing any road. Those are just the publicity arm of it. And so the actual engineers at public work will be working with the contractors to develop and design the road. And I think what the Liberal Progressive is doing here by raising concerns about some of the things that should be considered, which he thinks are not being considered. I think it's wonderful that government officials, people who listen to the show, will hear it and then take that message to to those people so that the engineers can factor that into their play. But no, McGill is not.
So literally, he's an opposition, but he's doing much good to the government. Is that what you're saying?
But that's what it's supposed to be. Look, Mr. So, like I said to you before, you know it. When I went to Liberia to carry on my teacher training program, I was doing the leadership of President Johnson Sirleaf. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to wait for your party to be empowered to contribute. And besides that, I've said on this show repeatedly, I did do some work for the Unity Party government in the United States. I did do it. I did it not because I wanted to cross over to the Unity Party. I did it out of my love for my country, for patriotism. When they reached out to me and asked me if I could perform certain roles and functions, I was glad to do it. So I think the Liberal Progressive is doing his carrying on his
patriotism. Is he playing politics with development infrastructure in Liberia?
No, he's living his patriotic responsibility. He's being a patriot. So he's making a suggestion. That's wonderful. He's doing it. I just think he a little bit off when he condemns the involvement, the presence of top government officials at those programs. Even the Minister of Public Works is not the one designing the roads. Yes, the acting minister has very limited part to play in the design of those roads. She can go over there and say what she wants to say. The design team is not. She's not going to.
This sort of not to interrupt you. This sort of sporadic groundbreaking ceremony to the president going this place, the president going this place. Is it sort of politically driven or balance or to solidify this really establishment comes 2023? I'm a little bit concerned here because I'm a curious guy. Why is the vice president, we saw them the last time in Lofa, why the vice president is not being put in some of these things here to see that, hey, there's some sort of unification within there. We know it's still, the rough edges are still there, no if and but about that. But why is the vice president is not being showcased at time?
The president and the vice president have an excellent relationship, contrary to what is being presented in the media.
It's not visible, Professor.
No, but what do you call visible? when
Yes,
Honorable-
groundbreaking ceremony here. I used to see those days here. I hate to interrupt. I used to see those days of Samuel Doe and Dr. Harry Foma Money
Yeah.
Bar. There were several times Harry Foma Money Bar would proxy the affairs of the president. And that's I say, okay, these people, there's some sort of coordination. Since they went to Lofa on the counter tour, we have not seen the vice president again. The president is all over. Breaking ground, Jefferson Koji, Samuel Tuwe, Nathaniel Magee, we just saw there. Is that why women politics women are more or less appealing? She basically doing what?
I think you guys are getting confused because you see, look, what the vice president has a very awesome responsibility. She's part of the legislature. That's the law-making arm.
Even though Group of 72nd is going from her hands.
There's nothing that's been taken away from the vice president's hands that will undermine her ability to perform her job. Government do make strategic moves from time to time and position people over the tax. Look, Liberia has a very crucial job right now. There's a very crucial thing for this government to do. This government must make sure its legislative agenda is uninterrupted and unhindered. That requires the president. That requires the president, the vice president, and the full engagement of the vice president. So other duties and assignments, which may seem to be contrary, which may seem to present some hurdles to her effecting her role in the legislature, can be temporarily assigned to other individuals, pending a successful conclusion of strategic assignments. So the vice president and the president have a very wonderful relationship. The cohesion within this government is better than even the cohesion that may have existed in heaven. The people are working hard; they are working together, and so it's just the media that wants.
Oh, we are creating this problem.
So,
we are.
Yeah.
Are we the ones? Are we the ones try to get this thing off the hand of those people? Yeah. You think they are doing?
Vice president is happy and hard at work, so you should be commending her for being such a hard worker, focusing behind the scenes. She's not a race car that is parked. She's a hardworking vice president, pushing the legislative agenda and making sure that the president's agenda is being approved. That's all. That's what she's doing, and that's her job.
She's not a race car that is parked.
She's not a parked race car. She has to be busy. That's what she's doing. She's involved in making laws.
It's getting to be a little bit ugly, and I'm trying to go a little bit goto here. It's not a race car. You are indirectly speaking to the liberal because that's a liberal race car you are referring to here. So the liberal, let me bring in the liberal here. Here we go. He's a diplomatic professor. I don't know why the CDC government, they're very hard to listen. Professor Zalo should be like a mouthpiece for Denta within the international today enclave here. I think they're going to do them good, but they don't listen. The vice president is not a race car that is parked. Do you know who you're talking to, Liberal?
Mr. Soul, what I do know is that the professors here is trying to somehow be diplomatic with the whole situation, which we expect. He's a highly educated man. And then the fact that he has put himself behind a specific brand, he has not seen, or there's no reason been given to him to distance himself from this brand. And therefore, he will sell the brand as according to his own perspective. So that's fine. I have no issue with it. What I do know for sure is that this vice president, not too long ago, were telling people in Bond County, when they bring your money here, you're going to eat it. That stolen money. They ain't work for it. When they bring their money here, you're going to eat it. Some people that the president was supporting, she wasn't supporting them. And there was an agreement that whenever the NPP had a candidate in that area, the other people were supposed to stay away. And you said this is something. 1 o'clock at night, you heard the vice president. 1 o'clock at night, that's when they want to have meeting of important stuff to discuss Liberian issue. What the vice president supposed to be. But she said, as a woman, why would I want to be out at 1 o'clock at night to do what? If you want to discuss something, why can't we? This is a group that the professor is telling us that they are getting well, they're getting along real well, and that's fine. I'm not going to dispute that, and I hope they do. But here's one other thing that I want to bring out here very quickly: the issue of the construction. Yes, I'm glad the professor recognized that Samuel Tuwe and McGill being over there just for sure. I accept that. However, what I don't accept, and there's been so many of them, what I don't accept is that for example, here in California, the bridge the roadway and the bridge that we just did, okay, before we got there, there has already been a presentation. There's been a lot of changes on the condition and the road and whatever we want to do. But the community was always involved from day one. So the final stage, when we got hold of it, the final stage, we had to put some sort of a presentation together to make sure the community are all involved. This is what I've been preaching. Samuel 12 over there, Minister McGill over there, and the agreement. That's the kind of agreement. These are the kind of people you expect to fully understand that when the road is built, it is for the people, and that they must do everything in their power to protect it. This is the time you start having a conversation. And you don't have a conversation in the middle of the street. You go and meet with, even if Samuel 12 and McGill are going to go and present themselves, which I accept and respect, because these are big shots. So when they go out, people will listen. But then you use this opportunity to educate the community what this process is all about. Who all going to do?
So the yo is not part of the education to get
no, the yo is just for sure. I don't accept
that. Besides that, and I do understand something. Look, but besides that, the mere presence of Minister McGill and Minister Tua on television, making those chants, yo, does not preclude the possibility that those things that you are suggesting have already been done, or I plan to be done, right?
Professor, we have other video where Minister McGill and Samuel Tua are leading the president, showing the president what in other words, they are behaving like a technical person, showing the president how these things will be done, which they have no clue.
I agree with you. Here's the thing. I understand that. Do you think just because they are doing that, do you think that they haven't consulted with the engineers, and the engineers gave them this information, and they just giving that president those peripheral information? It's not the information or instruction that they are giving to the president.
Professor, you can try and dress this pig or let's take on this and what have you. I just not buying it. What I'm saying here, what I'm saying to you is this: I'm not against them being the hair or the face of a project, which then bring publicity to the project, which I respect and accept. However, you then, as a face of the project, you go and make your political statement. And that's what they're supposed to do. Election coming. I don't expect anything less than that. But after that is done, then you bring in the technical person who will then give the community some sort of a technical overview of what this process is supposed to be. Nothing is happening. The community right now, all they know the road coming. When the road coming, the people building the road. Who's going to be building the road? All of these kinds of information, they are not important as for now. But however, you have to, my thing is, get the community to be part of the process from the very beginning. That way, when you go out there to do the work, there will be, these are the people, the community. Yes, another thing here, you will understand. The community have ideas when it rain in our area, the flood level, the high water level. They know. I don't know. The engineer that lives in Monrovia have no clue. So they decide they're going to put a drainage on there. They go doing a drainage calculation, messing a high water table and putting something that is not correct. You're going to have issue. That's why you get the community involved, and then you start asking questions because they give you the historical background. The road over there, maybe you got some, I don't call it a burial spot that's supposed to be identified.
We're going to take our first commercial break.
Kinds of things.
All right, folks, we're going to be pivoting very shallow, but let's take a first commercial break, and I'll be right back. That's Professor Alcese Labozablo and the liberal progressive Samson Brown told from Saxtown, Sacramento. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I'm Isaac Zawalo. I am an instructor here at the Arlington Career Center. I'm an instructor of mathematics. Mostly I teach the dual enrollment math classes for the Arlington Career Center. I've been here in Arlington for about 16 years. I originally come from Liberia, a small country on the west coast of Africa. It was established by free slaves from the United States. In Liberia, I'm involved with a series of educational projects. I own 2 schools, an elementary school in the capital city, Monrovia, and a secondary school about 40 kilometers outside of Monrovia in a little town where I grew up called Kakata. Well, the secondary school is called Giddings Polytechnic Academy. It's located about 40 kilometers outside of Monrovia.
Now, what makes Giddings Polytechnic Academy to be the best school is that at the Giddings Polytechnic Academy, we are introduced to elective such as drafting, nursing, business, journalism and creative writing, and agriculture. That's not all. We are also having a free access to the internet, and we are also introduced to ICT, that is the information communication technology.
The school is changing lives. Our parents are coming to the school and they are telling us, one, our teachers are consistently in class. Our students, the school is fenced, so our students remain on campus for the most of the day. The level of instruction, I've been told, is at the highest possible level for Liberia. In fact, it is projected that our enrollment will increase from 230 to about 500 for the next academic year. We are seeking help when it comes to technology, as I indicated. Any kind of resources that will help students to do better, textbooks, use textbooks, anything that will help ease the situation of our students, anything will be appreciated. No, I look forward to seeing a relationship being built between the school in Liberia and our community here in Arlington. I consider Arlington my second home, and so I would want to see my 2 homes connecting.
There you have it. That's our own professor right here, Professor Ase Zawo, making an extraordinary impact in Liberia, just not talking here, but also walking to what he's taught. So, folks, again, that's the Cash App number is there. So some of you have books, you have some used laptops, 2, 3 in your closet that you're not using. The number is there. This is the Cash App number to donate. The schools, there are 2 schools. One is in Monrovia and one is in Kakata. Right, so it's faulty because all of these problems that we're having because we did not prepare the generation, and that's something he's investing, he's doing right now. So I call that number to make your donation. If you have any issue, call our LPR hotline as well, 682-433-8802, and we will definitely. We have to get time here to see if people can help as well. We are doing everything possible we can. So I mean, this is worthy. If we're doing all of this, it's good to put finger out and poke in the eyes of the government as well as the opposition. So guys, we're gonna pivot a little bit.
Mr. So, before we do, let me just point something out here very quickly. And I do accept the professor argument. Here in the area, here in the Sacramento area, I completed a project here a few months ago. And the project is supposed to be going to construction very shortly. And our head of the department went to this community, this is a college town, went to the community, and the community decided, because when we built this, we were going to block a specific road. We were going to now make that entire area like a park or something and put sidewalk on it. But then the community, and it's up in the north, and the northern part of California, they're very, very big on bicycle business. So the community said, well, it's a college campus, so we want bicycle and stuff like that. Now they want us to open a particular corridor. The man told them, he acted just like Judge we are and Ellen there. The man told them, oh, you want bicycle? We'll put it there. Without thinking, and he used to be an engineer. I mean, he's an engineer. He used to be a designer. Without thinking the things that are involved, he gave them the promise. Then he came back to us as an engineer and said, "Well, can you guys do that?" Now the work is with me. Now I have to come up with all the ADA ramp on that and how to connect the bicycle path into the main road without them being hit. So all of those things got. So I'm not saying that these kinds of things don't happen here either. But when they do, they come and ask you a question: can we do it? So that's what I'm saying. I just want to make that point clear. Go ahead, move on, Mr. So. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay, yeah, Widow, you said a share button. Sometimes, you know, the Facebook thing, I'm trying to organize my own social media set because sometimes right now I can't even post. You know, sometimes you just over the tape. Okay, guys, let's pivot here. Anybody can make a guess. What is this? These two things, items in my. Let me first say here, maybe and I want a liberal, because more or less this is something liberal. Can you see anything like this?
Mr. So,
Final.
is that final exam?
Oh my goodness. Final collaborative framework.
Oh.
These are your document, right? Are you aware of this document?
I am. I know about it. I've been reading about it. I know all about that.
Yeah. Let me
So
see.
be careful how you interject yourself into this process this evening.
What it's part of the conversations. It's not a matter of me. Since the 25th of April 2020, collaborative framework document, declarations of intent collaboration for the purpose of forming a political alliance from 11 to 7. You heard Dr. Jeremiah Wapu here the other day. Okay, let's see here what is happening.
Jeremiah Wapu is not. Is he part of the C? Which one are you talking? Is that for the CPP or what?
You know, they get a rainbow. They think there's so plenty. Say,
is that a rainbow? The rainbow came from 11 to 7.
The rainbow. Yeah, that's the CPP on here. That's the rainbow on here on the side here. We have all of them here. But I just want us to talk here a little bit because, and folks, we are so sorry too. We should have had Senator Boto Cannon to Bapolut, but there's something prop out. So there was a cancellation notwithstanding that cannot put us off from having our conversation. Being joined here now is the man himself from Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Amos George, senior contributor and political analyst, the medicine man to the most liberal on this network. Yeah, it's gonna get fascinating. It's gonna get interesting. Now it's been balanced. What you hope for is finally here. Let me bring in Mr. Amos George from Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. George, good afternoon.
How you doing, Professor Zawulu? Sansin Bloku Tour from Tour Time.
Hey.
And Mr. Alfonso Zianso.
Okay, sounds into from total. That's a warning right there. You remember Benjamin Netanyahu when he went to the United Nations, he was using that measurement red line when you cross that area. Okay, let's talk. Let's take a little bit review of the opposition here too, guys. You know, we have to make a proportional poke here and poke there. What is happening within the opposition? Who is more visible now? Who is trying to get the inside work done? Who is strengthening or solidifying their political base? It's quite interesting. This guy called Alexander Benedict Cummings, a former corporate America now turned politicians, like in the case of soccer legend turned politician is the president, is brought into one of the insider from now the ruling establishment, Isaac Va, who was a 2 terms chairman for the then CDC and got to the end of the marathon, is now chief of staff, and he's going to be in charge of the communication for the ANC. I think that is huge, but we have extended invitation to him because I did a lot of interview with Va as well before they even went to Liberia, and for some reason, things didn't go where it's supposed to go. How are they going to sell seat? Are they going to sell the ANC? How Alexander Cummings going to be? Message going to be? Will we see sort of different tones of directions of the party? Will they be more or less put the visions of the party, or this talk show is all about themselves? How they're going to showcase this guy here? How are they preparing Alexander Cummings within this big fight within the CPP that is trying to position herself as alternative to the people of Liberia? I still not see it being visible. The kind of talking point that I expect is not happening, but it's at their own will and pleasure. So yeah, let me throw this bait here, and I think somebody got to, and then I want to get you want to come into that, Professor?
I'll come into that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's several reasons why I want to come in. One, I want to congratulate publicly. I've already done it on Facebook, and I've also done it by way of making a call to my friend and brother Isaac Batukwa on his ascendancy to the position of chairman of the chief of office staff of Alexander Cummings. I think Mr. Cummings could not have made a better choice. And so I commend, I don't normally commend Mr. Cummings. I think I commend him for that choice. I think
you don't normally? So why this time?
Because he made a wonderful choice. I know the man, Isaac Tukwa. He's a friend, he's a brother. I worked with him for several years. And we have the same name, Isaac. And we did so many projects, so many work together that sometimes people will be battling between which Isaac they are talking to, whether it's Isaac Tukba or Isaac Zawolo and stuff like that. But he's a brother to me, and we did a lot of things together. I'm so proud that he could be recognized in the way he's been recognized by the Mr. Cummings. But let me say this to you: the opposition is doing great. You hear that from me? The opposition is doing great. Mr. Cummings has been making some key and some very strategic moves, and he's been positioning himself for a strong run for the presidency. On the other hand, Vice President Boyka also is doing well. He's been making a strong case for the presidency. You see Vice President Boyka dancing with his wife for the 49th anniversary. The woman told me she never did it before in her life, so it was kind of hard for her to do the dance. See, that's why she was out of sync. Because if you're on the anniversary, your man will be somewhere else.
Don't let me to find that video. Don't let me to find that video yet.
No more other thing. And the measure other thing. And he's even going on the beach wearing swimming clothes, and look, the guy is becoming hip and connecting. Look, it doesn't look natural. Or he can. The measure, he went to school, so he can learn to, kind of like settle in. I wouldn't be surprised to see him knocking beer can the way this lady did it, or Warren did it on public television with the students, university students, try to get them over. But look, the opposition is doing great. I think the opposition is doing great. I see that Bernard Ure is fading, and so in the front now is Cummings and Boyka, and they are doing a wonderful job. The people who are preparing them are really, really promoting them. But recently, there's an emergence of a new name. Again, we have the same middle name. Tiawan Se Gonglo has just entered the scene. And there are discussion about whether Alexander Benedict Cummings and Tiawan Se Gonglo will make a good team. People are even thinking that Tiawan Se Gonglo should be, the presidential candidate. So those things are happening. So the opposition is doing well. I must admit, it's no joke. I think they are, giving us a run for our money. And we have to do better. Otherwise, they will be able to displace us.
Okay. So let's see.
Yeah. Professor Zawolo made a good analysis. And normally we follow the social media after this appointment. I saw another brother going after Asifa Tukba, that he's not competent to do the job.
Was that a word that he used specifically, not competent?
Yeah, something like yeah. And he said he got tips from Asifa Tukba. He's not the person that he claimed to be. And this person, I think yesterday said they were going to endorse Honorable Joseph Boakai. And then I started thinking,
I hate to do this here. This person, let us now speak with him.
D-Flow.
D who?
D-Flow.
Oh.
So
you make my cholesterol to even go up. Go ahead.
As if I talk about that Cummings made a wrong choice. So,
but who is D-Flow?
So
that's your partisan. That's your partisan. He's one of your guys.
The person said, one of the guys was talking to him, said, "Look, you don't think that Cummings going across is like reaching across the aisle to take somebody who was once part of a political party and putting him into a position? You don't think that how the country should be going, not because you're from a particular political, but if you have the experience and idea and education, why can't you bring that person into your camp to help to improve the country, or when they are elected, they will have to work along to improve the situation?" And there was the point I come in. I said the move by Mr. Cummings was very strategic. Is to tell you that, look, some of the things he have been saying that it doesn't matter which side this person is on, but if they are qualified and you know they can do the job, bring them in. Because at the end of the day, you the leader or head of that institute, you will get the credit. It's not those that are working on there. And as Professor said, they were one of the brilliant models I saw coming making. And Professor Zago, before this guy appointment has said it before, that this guy is work alcoholic. He's someone that work take everything very seriously. So maybe coming do some research and say, hey, you know what happened? Yeah, there are people qualified people in my camp, but I will bring that guy from outside there. Maybe he will come there to shake up some things. Maybe this is a guy who will tell me, so Chief, this is not right. This is not the way we're going. And people that know Asif Atopa, they said those are some of the things. They said because you should tell person former person, the person that, hey, this one is not right. And maybe the person said those are some of the reasons that the person maybe did not include him in the government, because he referred to someone who a straight shot shooter. Tell the chief what is right and what is wrong. And in Africa and many places, most leaders don't like no kind of people. We will tell them, sir, yeah, I think we should do it this way. Many of our leaders don't like it. They feel that, this guy too much want to overshadow me. But those people who are in position, who wants to learn and who wants to improve, a good leader will always listen to people around them that will tell them the truth. But in our case, it's not like that. Many are pretty single. So I think the move by coming was a nice one. But then, I don't know what professor got the rare meat from to throw in there that Omen Baga was dancing with his wife. So,
by the
way, I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play that video tomorrow.
Why are you gonna play it?
Because my political leader, my future president is still. But I'll go ahead, Mr. So.
Why I had that video. Why you don't want us to play it today?
If you want to play it, play. I'll be happy to respond to that.
I want you to play the one on those kind of milestone anniversary celebration. Not just the 49th one. Do you have one for the 10th anniversary?
Mm-hmm.
The 20th
they want sufficient. They want bring all the 10th anniversary, 11, 12, everything together. This is it. We'll put everything together. But no, Mr. So let me say this here, and I think your question is quite in place. What is happening with the opposition? And I think bringing in Honorable Toba to be the chief of staff for coming, for me, having been pounding on it for the last 3-4 days or so, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Before, the way I was reading, and I think I made that expression here on your show, and the man from CDC that, well, where you got to get, nothing. But then when I went back, after I even listened to the show, I was sure, when I went back and started reviewing everything else, I think it's very interesting. Very interesting. I think they Cumming and his group, I think they're putting themselves together to actually be taken serious by the Liberian people and by the collaborating political party. One thing, by bringing I say Tokpa in here, the man who everyone have said this man does not take nonsense. He will tell you as it is. Two things. Those who are close to Bakai and are praise singer are shaking in their boots right now. Because Asif Atopa will expose these people, number one. Even though he's not working for Bakai, but if they're all working together and they are unable to produce, they will be exposed. One thing. Second thing is this. And I don't mind being this ridiculous person on this show as usual. I'm a liberal. I don't mind that. Whatever you do, you say that's fine. I believe that Asif Atopa is now preparing Cummings for the second spot, and Asif Atopa will prepare Cummings to say we're going, and they're not going to make that announcement now. Don't ask me why they're going to. No, but they're preparing themselves. I truly believe that Asif Atopa is a very smart man. There's no question asked, and I believe that he's preparing Cummings to go second to Baka. And here's the reason I keep saying this. We know age doesn't matter in politics, that's for sure. But this position, if you're serious to be the serious president, it requires a lot out of you. And what I predict, Honorable Baka is not somebody that will come and sleep on the job. He would take it serious and start doing. For that reason, for that, Professor, you can laugh all you want, doesn't matter.
No.
That's okay. That's okay. He won't sleep. But I mean, no pun intended. But the point that I'm making is, after 3 or 4 years, and start producing, his wife most likely going to say to him, "It's time we give up and let's go enjoy our retirement. You've now become president. You have brought this country to the point where everybody wants. Let Comey, who would then be vice president, let Comey take it and run with it." I think this is a strategy that you, Mr. So, will put Samson to on a pedestal come 4 years from now.
But let me just tell you.
I come in, Pa George. I don't usually do this here, but there's a young lady here is expressing concerns, and we know we always like to get the concerns and thoughts of our followers, our listeners. And if it is legitimate, we must not ignore it. Munant Cotier say, CMO of LRA has been missing for 6 days now. Now, you please ask this weird government. We need to know what is going on. Please, we need justice. Okay, Monanda is quite correct. But for us, we do it differently here. We don't just run with things. We are concerned if every Liberian out there goes missing, but it's also important that we do our due diligence to talk to, if not all, good players, maybe hear from the police, hear from the family, hear from the authority, what happens, then we give it a kind of talking point. Instead of just come here and just, put it out there because we want to please people, not just only the talking, but the substance of the conversation is what we prioritize here as well. But part of that, be happy. That's what we are doing, because if we can have this sort of conversation to profile these individuals that are for national or state offices, and then that's part of it. So this is why we try to empty all here. But believe me or not, as long as we get some tangibles or people that are willing to give us information and not just only read out that, definitely I guarantee we're going to do it. Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
I was just telling what Mr. Tu is alluding to. But I try to tell him that he should not be surprised, because this thing now is turning different. Cummings is not just sleeping again. He's doing some work too, and
the sleeping dog is awake now.
Yeah, so this race now, those are right. I know they are very concerned. It's becoming very competitive between Baka and Cummings, because Benla you have fallen. I can say he have fallen by the wayside, and you are seeing Cummings being visible now. Doing this scratch, you're seeing all around going to.
Is it doing more than Waika? Cummings?
Yeah, I would say so.
Cummings has a better machinery. Cummings has a better, more contemporary machinery.
Yes.
Than Baka has.
It's been more than.
Now the procedure is trying to intrude into this here. It seems to me CDC want to more or less contest against Cummings than Waika.
Let me tell you something. No. Let me tell you something to you. Look, Cummings has a better machine. Look, Cummings team had a problem, and I saw Cummings released the document that he released announcing Tugba's appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Let's read it. Go ahead. See how many times Cummings mentioned CDC or sedition in it. You notice it? It's all over the place. Almost every line, he has CDC or CDC.
Who do you want him to talk about?
He's referring to, he said that, he indicated that ANC, as you know, is made up of former seditions. And Isaac Tugba is a former chairman of the CDC USA. And as you know, he kept on referencing that. That's not accidental. That's deliberate. He's trying to war over seditions who are disenchanted.
Yeah.
And when you look at what's happening right now in our country, where young people expected to have been placed in key and strategic positions and didn't get those positions, those are vulnerable people.
Whose fault?
No, I'm not. No, we're not discussing the fault. I'm just telling you how.
No, but who support them in those positions, Professor?
The president should have appointed them to those positions and stuff like that.
Like we are?
Yeah, but let me finish. But that's not the main issue here. So don't try to get me in trouble. I'm still. I don't want to be expelled.
So don't worry.
That's right. What I'm trying to tell you is that look, the boy have been deliberate. Look, Cummings team had one problem. I negotiated. I don't know. I dealt with Cummings team for about 6 months prior to the 2017 elections. I dealt with me. I had an assignment.
Well, they were vetting you as well.
No. I had an assignment from my party.
Oh.
And I was carrying out my party's assignment, but working along with them. You know, there was a lot of juggling for what they call it, man, collaboration,
merger, all that kind of stuff.
So one of the problems that Cummings team has is this elitist mindset. What Isaac Toba does to Cummings now is that he wipes that away. And like what Samson said, don't overlook what Samson said. Isaac is very crafty, and he's very pragmatic. He would look into the things and read between the lines. He's the one person that's capable of suggesting to Cummings what nobody would suggest to him. In the line of what Samson is saying. That's a fact. And that idea that Samson just threw out there, trust me, it's not far-fetched. It's real. And I'll be surprised if Isaac is not thinking in that line. And that's my brother. He wouldn't confide in me what he's thinking about with the ANC because, I'm a but I'll be surprised the man I know, Isaac, if he's not thinking along those lines. Now, when it comes to the boycott side, but I also have some people that I work with for a long time. Anthony Kessler.
Yeah, your former ULA president.
Yeah, Anthony Kessler.
Who's going to throw Baka in a hole?
No. Anthony Kessler, who's a workaholic, who's also a very smart.
But he's not. He will not do good for the country of Liberia.
He's smart, but he's not charismatic as Isaac, and he can come across as being polarizing.
Professor? He is polarizing.
No, I don't know what he's polarizing. I say he can come across as being polarizing to people. But so those are some of the things that we have to take into consideration. But here's the thing, like Samson said, boycott to a large extent makes sense for the CPP. And so you don't tell me say I'm trying to push the communist line for communist. No. Boycott makes sense, and because even with the other idea that Samson is bringing about or his wife telling him let's go on something. I mean, look, the average death spending in Liberia is around 48. Even though Ellen Johnson said he was able to push it to 62, according to the official number the UN people gave for her to make her look good. The average death spending in Liberia is 48. But man, we've been staying in that country all that long time. Oh, man, many things are happening. You remember, I don't want to be bad, but Samson then were trying to make a president for us. And we listened to Samson then, but now we have had a state funeral.
Who's that?
No, but you see the man laughing. I don't want to be disrespectful, but we are listening to Samson then, but now we have had a state funeral, which is very
call the person name.
Samson was pushing Bronsky on us. Bronsky. So had Bronsky being elected, that's what would have happened. We would have had a state funeral at this point. Which is very
liability on national government, right? Yeah. Look, let's talk about this yet a little bit. There's only one concern, and that's just an individual concern with Isaac. But with D-Float, and they try to gain some sort of public light. I mean, look, the only thing I have is why our politicians, if they are within the system and the system is not fixed, and they are not doing it, doesn't matter because I didn't see people at what his name, the late Backup Matthews and other folks, though progressive, leaving their parties, right? To say, oh, because this is not happening, I'm going to this end here. They stood by their party side, and they were always there to protect the ideologies of what their party believe in. Unlike today in Liberian contemporary politics, it's not like that. And this is what I hate, this sort of dishonesty by these people when they come. I'm not doing it. I'm advocating for the Liberian people. You're not advocating for me. You're doing it for yourself. Because if you don't get a job in 1 year, 2 years, you will go renegade. Like at a Battlefront, I saw you that. I was wondering what would have happened if Tuba stays within the CDC and begin to make the argument this is not what our party to represent. And like what maybe I don't know whether when he professor going to walk away too, I don't know, but to say this is what we're doing. And I'm saying this point to say Liberal and Pa George, you saw here what happened in the U.S. here. I know it might sound ridiculous. Why would you want to compare that? Okay, but these are the people we emulate, we imitate, we say we are smart America. I don't know how practical that is, but we saw people like John McCain. You see people like John Casey then here. He was a former presidential contender, 2 terms governor. He's a member of the Republican, but he said, you know what? I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump because he's XYZ. That's not going to stop my party affiliation as being a Republican, but they were very vocal. We saw what happened when things were not moving right. What happened? The emergence of the Tea Party and they put in candidates to send a loud and strong message. But here we are. We have our advocacy group. We have our pressure group. They are all embedded within the political system. So I feel I love vulnerable. So how can they come to me to say that they're going to talk to me? That's been very
Mr. So I can't let you continue on this type of platform.
Because
you're going to come here and make your Tea Party, Mr. So, and you're going to consider Tea Party as some of your model Tea Party of all people.
I'm just telling you, I'm trying to give you the narrative, how the society and people that makes the institution to change. The same.
Let me push back on that a little bit.
No, yeah, but if you could give me a chance here,
go ahead.
I know your nerves is breaking down this.
Yeah.
These are the things that you don't like us to tell the all public. You come and just present your side, and you leave the ordinary Liberians who are undecided, who are indecisive, which way to go, because all of the politicians, all, no exception, you have confused and diffused the entire political process. So let me just go and you're going to have your order. You're going to have your day in court. I'm saying this to say, John McCain left his sick bed and walked on Capitol Hill, and he gives that thumbs down. Why he did it is to save the country, not just necessarily the Republican Party, but there was a strong conviction as a politician. How many of our politicians does that? When the government gets tough, they walk away. All your Liberty Party people, they're going over to CDC.
So the point, let me push back on this here. Let me push back on it because we can't let you go on with, like you always say, your salad dressing. You're bringing in Tea Party here and you expect us to be quiet. Tea Party of all people who have nothing to contribute except confusion all over the United States. Tea Party got us to where we are, and you want to tell them. Tea Party, they were useless.
They changed the house.
They changed the house, but look what happened to them. They're being infiltrated now by KKK and the rest of the white national or whatever. These are the people. So I don't want to touch that. I don't want to touch American politics. I got my hand full with my own Liberian politics. But let me tell you this. You talk about McCain. So why can't we praise Aseva Toba to say this is Liberia McCain? That have now
no. Yeah, then hold
on. Let me show you something else. Let me. You know, Senator Kennedy from Louisiana used to be a Democrat. He's now a Republican. Mm-hmm. We have this so-called Democrat from West Virginia, not too far from you, Joe Manchin, who is a Democrat.
How will you say, John? How will you say he's not far from me?
Where are these you and him distinguished? He's supposed to be a Democrat who is thinking like a Republican, behaving like a Republican, acting like a Republican, and he is a Republican as far as I'm concerned. These are the people that like to stand on the back of the African American when they have done suffering. They have African American give them the Senate, and what did he do? Now out of a sudden he's a pure conservative now on the bikes of the African American. But like I said, I don't want to touch American politics this afternoon. Let me go back to Liberian situation. There are people who will leave. For example, in my own Liberty Party, we saw people leaving in droves, sitting underneath the Somoko tree, calling themselves sedition. They were not there as real sedition. They are there as seeking brevetry. I know that. I accept that. But there are those who actually, people like Aseva Toba, who tried his best to make sure CDC becomes the way CDC was supposed to be. You got a founding members of CDC who will argue to you, Mr. So, to say this is not what we wanted. Now, Mr. Vitoba, instead of saying, you know what, I'm just going to fold my hand, he decided, look, I got a lot to offer, and I'm going to offer, not to Cummings as an individual, but offer it to the Liberian, because if he helped Cummings to become successful, Cummings will implement some of Asif Vitoba ideas. That's not, he's not bringing Asif Vitoba because Asif Vitoba is a handsome person, but because Asif Vitoba got something to offer to the Liberian people. And so when these people are coming across, don't just blame all of them as though they're seeking gravity and what have you. Mr. So I'm going to push back on that hard because there are some of us who, I'm not leaving party. You're talking about the progressive. You're talking about the progressive. Those days, there was no way Bacchus Matthew could have left PPP or whatever and then go and join Moja. There was never going to be. Moja, people was not going to come to Bacchus Matthew and say, now Kumbaya here. There was no Kumbaya among them. Nothing. We all understood that. So those people, but however, when it came to the promotion of Liberian issue, these people were always together. So, Mr. So, I feel bad for you to tout Tea Party as your model of real, true democracy in this day and age, Mr. So. I think Liberia Public Radio need to do more research on you and see as to what are your really Liberian Public Radio host or your CDC and this guiding himself as a Liberian Public Radio host. We're gonna look into that.
Yeah, but Mr.
Look, yeah, go ahead, Professor.
Progressive, look, though the Tea Party espoused some extreme political thoughts, the role and the achievement of the Tea Party cannot be questioned. They did accomplish a lot. So, but I think your point you make is also wonderful, Mr. So. Look, one of the challenges we have in Liberia is that we do not really have political parties. We have individual driven conglomeration. So, for example, the CDC is driven by the dreams, imaginations, the desires of George Weah.
Nobody else.
The ANC is driven by Cummings' dreams. The Liberty Party was driven by Bronsky, and so and on and on and on. When an individual, for whatever reason, begin to experience problems with the principles in those parties, it's next to impossible for that person to be able to accomplish anything. And then it behooves the person to find other ways of, contributing to their country. And I think that's what Chairman Tuba is doing. I look ahead and see that I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised that a reunion. I wouldn't be surprised for a reunion of Isaac with a lot of his former sedition colleagues. I wouldn't be surprised at that. Now, you see, when people, it was not only D-Flow. It was one Eddie Dome. It was one Dempster Yala. People are using the elections that Isaac took part in Riverside and Monserrato as metrics for his ability to deliver. Look, some of the best politicians never won a race. You know that, right? They never won a race. They're the one who stayed behind the scenes and do some of those work. But the other thing about it, I wouldn't want to be like some other people. Somebody that I have respect for recently wrote an article, and he sent it to me. I read the article. Nice thoughts, nice ideas. So I don't want to be like him to start questioning the Liberian voters. But yeah, I understand our Liberian voters are peculiar voters.
So yeah, Professor. Yeah, what I'm saying here, I'm taking a holistic approach.
I'm surprised you're not coming back at me.
Don't worry, I'm about to unleash. Don't worry, don't get panic. Just get your maybe blood pressure pill if you are to take it, because we don't have that insurance yet. But yeah, I'm saying you support the agenda of this government,
Yeah.
of the CDC led government. You have done international interview. That is part of that. And I'm quite sure what you are still doing, if I could make an educated guess, you are still making an argument. You know what? I will stay within the system to make sure that the system is fixed. If my party is not doing it, I will also still be there to be in their middle to make my point. So what I need to know, I have had a conversation. He appeared on this network several times before, even after the president was elected. So I'm interested here. What didn't happen when he was chairman, or what specifically?
I will
Where
answer
did
that. I will
you want
answer
to
that.
talk?
I will answer that clearly.
Okay, let's see.
No disrespect to Isaac, but I think Isaac will agree with me that the level of respect or cooperation that I get from the hierarchy of not just I would say of the government is quite different from the level of respect he gets from the hierarchy of the government. It's quite different.
What? So why that demarcation?
I don't know why. I want to tell you the reality.
Have you talked to him on that?
Why we are discussing with him, he's not. He doesn't deserve such a treatment. So I know it already. He doesn't deserve.
So, in other words, here, and we do not plan to put him on the poll here. I already extended the invitation. Hopefully, he's going to accept that, and that's why we're going to play the real hardball. So, let me get it right here. You being within the Beltway, are there justifiable reason for which he was alienated? Is there? Do you know?
For me, from my vantage point, I don't think there's any justifiable reason that you will alienate the soul, one of the souls of your party. I don't think there's any justifiable reason for that. Now, I may not have information that others have. And so maybe their actions are based on the information they have. And I would love for them to share those information with me, because for me, it baffles.
Have you asked for those information?
For me, it baffles me. Oh yes, I've spent very small time asking those questions. What I've been most concerned about is how we can resolve that malaise. And I wasn't successful in that direction, and so I gave up. And I respect Isaac's decision.
The reason we are talking about this, yes, is important, and it's I'm going to be coming to you, Pat George. This is the guy who headed a political arm of a political party 2 times, and this party led to a huge victory, 60 some more percent. No question about that. So I'm also curious why. Not that he's not qualified. I have talked to him. He's a guy of he looks he's organized. He looks organized based on the conversations and things and people that I've talked to him. So if this is the case, why this guy was left out at the time they were dividing the cake? Was he not around, or there was no appetite, or people said no, this man maybe he doesn't have teeth, or he are diabetic. So when we gave him the cake, we carry his sugar level up and all of this. I'm wondering, I want to ask the real question to get the inside part of that, because why these things have the propensity to kill the substance of our democracy, because people can't come to us, introduce people to us, commit these people to us, told us that these people are going to do X, Y, Z, and after 1 year, 2 years, maybe you are not incorporated, or maybe they say, okay, you know what, we will wait until when the going gets tough, then we'll bring you in. And patience ran out. Was that the case? Those are things I need to know.
I don't know.
Let me say this. I say Vatupa, if at all he had problem with the party, I don't know. I'm an Osalo. But Chairman Mulva, after that defeat, and they said they were bringing back the party, I said Vatupa was need number 1. That he should be ahead to structure that party, to bring the party back together. I said Vatupa.
Yeah. What happened then?
So if this guy is someone that they rely on the trusted, hard working, why they gonna incorporate him into the structure? And this is I said one time, he was saying the idea that they were putting forward is different from today. What they're seeing, what they're seeing going on. And if the people in the party,
let me bring in a state witness here. You have created some sort of indictment here. Professor, you are one of the initiators that brought CDC and delivered CDC to the Liberian people. Here is the former chairman, according to what Pat George is saying. What our principles, our political ideologies, our grassroots-based agenda that got us on the eighth floor, whether it's eighth floor of foreign affairs or executive mansion, eighth floor is eighth floor. The deviated from it. This is not what we put forward. Is that true?
I'll use different words to describe it.
Okay,
I would say that the ideas that we propounded are not being packaged and delivered in the way and manner we have preferred to see it.
So, they are not being. We can let this guy slide away. No, they are not being packaged. They are not being managed. It means somebody. Somebody
may not be delivered and packaged in the way.
Okay, they may not be delivered. Which couriers are, which mail bag, which post address are supposed to have delivered those?
What I'm saying to you is that, look, when you are in a political party, you have a vision. CDC was a collaboration and conglomeration of people with different political beliefs. Isaac is almost like a liberal progressive. I'm an extreme. I'm a leftist. I'm a left-leaning person. I advocate for socialism always. My goal and desire for CDC.
Probably that's why you're being left out. Your social idea is not helping the party.
For CDC, and my goal for my whole desire was to see a party, a government that would emerge in Liberia that would dedicate most of its resources to addressing the societal ills, to ensuring that we were able to deal with teenage pregnancy, infant mortality, death in what do you call it, man? Pregnancy, the challenges women go through pregnancies. I was interested in seeing that we'll have more schools, and schools will be free from K1 all the way to universities. Those are the kind of things that some of us were espousing, and I'll be very honest with you, there have been steps towards achieving.
You are the liberal here again with this
Mr. So
Soviet Union tactics here.
Mr. So
yeah, but something let Pat George and then I come to you, please. Pat George.
If this guy trusted by the ordinary citizens and the hierarchy pushing aside, if this guy was not loyal to this organization, why he devoted almost 12 or 16 years of his time to the institution? It shows some sort of commitment from his side. But again, if the people in power say, hey, you know what? We don't need this guy again. His idea may be too extreme. So we'll leave him alone. Let him go. We're not treating him. So as a Vantopa, he joined the ANC. For me, I don't see it as someone who did not want to build an institution. No. He worked seriously to build an institution. But the institution pushing him away.
So
with that, as a Vantopa case is one of those extreme cases. But normally, as Professor alluded to, these people don't build institutions. It's individual to build. So when that person fell away, that whole idea is dead. And today you can name all the political institutions in Liberia, if we want to call them institutions. Look at what happened to them. When the standard bearer of that party gone, the party died down. Today we're talking about George, we are CDC. Who are they training? To say, no, that local person where he's out now. He's out. But this is the group.
I'm ready to run.
No, you ready to go. You say when you're running.
Mr. So.
Okay, so let me. Okay, Mr. To, I'm coming to you. So, is it fair, or will it be a good words of choice to say what maybe VAR was used as a scapegoat to get them to it, and then at the end of the day, they just say, you know what, we're not going to deal with you. And also, to be fair, he after he left, he didn't make a political choice. I believe he stayed as an independent. So that was still a room. There was still a room of sort of dialogue or conversation. Moluba Molu came down here. He now danced in Philadelphia, and he want people to come back home. I'm wondering, I called him multiple times. He did not pick up my phone call. Like what happens in Liberia, he did not grant us an invitation. So how are they bringing these people? You have Zakaman, after Zakaman in Minnesota. You have other people all here still. I'm wondering because the reason is I see these people as qualified potential people and our own Professor Zalo. So I don't understand. This is the guy who for his lifetime is putting his time in the education system in the country. And you still have them. So what are they injury and strappy time player? Samson Bronto.
Mr. So, you know me. I don't beat around the bush. I give it to you as it is. Whether they like it or not, that's what I believe. As if October were pushed out just because of what we're witnessing lately, where we have now McGill and Twe acting like a president and a vice president of the Republic of Liberia. As if October, on a very serious note, as if October would not have been in there and allow these two gentlemen to cross-partner, in other words, to cross-function, go out here and do something that you know is not you're not in that area. As if October would have told these people, I think we're polluting this water. And as if October is not, it doesn't seem to me. I don't know you, but it doesn't seem to me someone who will sing song. I believe as if October, if he was in there, McGill and Samuel would have been checked by now. Not necessarily be dismissed, but they would have been doing their job. Because Asif October would have told them, this is not what we're about. And Asif October would have been able to have the young progressive sedition to follow him. And so they recognize that. In fact, Mr. So, I told you, I was there in Monrovia during the inaugural program. Immediately after the inaugural program, people started vying for position. And every one of those people that come out of that whatever Zoe Bush or Kruger Bush, whatever you want to call it, everyone that come out will say McGill wants something. McGill said this. McGill, if not McGill, you're not going to get it. So if you start that kind of process like that, I believe if he was involved, this kinds of thing will not have happened. I said Vatoba would have gone after qualified sedition. I said Vatoba, I'm sure before the end of the election, I said Vatoba most likely as smart as he is, probably have already identified qualified sedition for certain position in that country. But again, with Samuel Twe and McGill, they decided, you bring this guy out here and we're going to have some serious issues. Because this guy, he's not a team player, I think they would say, which is wrong. This is what I'm going to say before I take a leave on that. Thank you, CDC. We appreciate it. Asivatoba is with us now, and we're going to show you the true ability of Asivatoba, because he will come and help us to defeat you massively.
He's not with you, though.
Mr. So, we're talking collaboration. Please don't try to split up here. No one here having confusion. Collaboration party.
Liberty Party USA. Liberty Party
Professor, please, we're not splitting anything here. We're all together.
You guys have a collaboration here in the US?
I'm not speaking about that. I'm a Liberty Party USA. That when it comes to that, that's fine. But I'm saying right now, I'm just saying that we, as the opposition, we're here and we're taking.
I understand something. Is there a collaboration structure between the Liberty Party US, the Europe component?
Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of, because these people here in the USA themselves, they're only one person. If that person was still in charge, because and I'm not talking because I've not spoken with him for years now. The young man, used to be Liberty Party chairman.
Philip Swart.
If Philip Swart, because Philip Swart, from my perspective, because I work with him, he always liked to put people together. That young man, if when he was here in Sacramento or in the Bay Area, he always liked to put people together. So when he became chairman of Liberty Party, Philip Swart was responsible of getting CDC during the Ebola crisis to get CDC to have that conference that night. It was Philip Swart who put that thing together. Philip Swart have always been someone who will bring people together. So I'm sure if Feneswa was in a leadership position at this time, perhaps this kinds of stuff of bringing a unity party, liberty party, and whatever party, bringing them together, by now would have had a successful convention where idea would be exchanged. And it was on a Feneswa administration that he suggested to Councillor Bronsky that the Liberian here in the diaspora, Liberty Party members, they are qualified to present to the Liberty Party US Liberia a platform, which is all of the political, Liberty Party USA here, the professionals, they put themselves into a group and put out front specific proposal, how the government, when they win, what they're supposed to do and how they're going to do it, coming from the professionals here. So for this why, if he was still in leadership, I think by now would have been somewhat better.
So, okay, folks, as you know, we always like to engage our audience. The number is also out there. Let's get your thoughts. So let's see here. Is there anything that's going to disadvantage Professor the crossing over? Is there something other damaging thing, other inner part of CDC? Because this guy, I think he been from the onset. So yeah, that he think he's going to get to ANC, going to be more politically rewarding. But let me go to this caller here and see it, and let's get the view of the people here as well. It's all about Liberia. Okay, the 267 number. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, so there is Hamilton calling from Pennsylvania.
Okay, Mr. Zillit, good afternoon.
How
Welcome.
you guys coming on?
Yeah, great. Okay, before you come here, I think you sent a tweet here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me put this tweet out here, and I see it. Say, I understand that we don't have secret here. I don't think it's anything bad here, so that you say. Okay, this is a tweet that you put out here on our feed. I understand that Isaac was a straight shooter. He tells you just as it is, and not to sugarcoat anything. Unfortunately, the president does not like such a person like Isaac. He likes people telling him what he wants to hear and not what he needs to hear. Your words are carefully, well carefully put together here, and I don't see anything like at a crime year committee. So, what's your side?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just what I said. You know, I listened to Ase and Zangama, and one time they had an interview, and then people asking them, I think you focus on Liberia or one of the services, but they were asking them why they left CDC, and then they were giving their okay. And you know, those guys work tirelessly to make, even to bring this party to leadership.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that they were. Most times they used to collect money and raise money to even help Joshua back home.
Mm.
And then more, they even raised some money in the Senate. All right. And according to Ase, the platform they had, what they plan for this government is not what they are running with now. If they have people very level-headed that were waiting to even work to put those issues on the floor. In fact, one of the things he talked about one time, he said that the first and foremost thing they wanted to do was to audit Madam Eddie's government. That was the first thing they wanted to do. They said they discussed it. They had a discussion, and all of the guys agreed. And then the frustrating part was that after they came to power, after they won the election, those guys left from here and went down to Liberia, do the inauguration. One of the guys said that, I think one of the guys said that, he said that while they were trying to put things together, and then the president said, and now they're coming now. The president said that now they're coming now. Those guys from the diaspora. So the guys said they felt very weak. In fact, they had to, they said they were able to collect some money to have even the inaugural ball at City Hall. They had another inaugural ball at City Hall for them. They had to collect money. All kind of discouraged. All the guys on the ball,
So okay, not to carry on here. Not to carry on here. Whatever decision, political decision taken by Isaac, if you were in that same situation, will you take that decision, or will you stay within the system to say, you know what, I have to stay here until it is fixed, whether they take me in or not? What could have been your decision to?
Well, you see, sometimes you align yourself with people that value what you value, or people who believe in what you believe in. And if you keep sometimes in some system, if you keep yourself there, it might lead to your either death or whatever. But sometimes, it's good to stay in the system, but provided if people are willing to change. All right. Now, you agree with me that they have the group, like they had the moral based group. Those guys are those who are sinking prisoners to the president. Oh yes, Mr. President can do it this way.
Okay. Are you worried too? Are you worried too on the part of opposition, because these sinking processes everywhere? They have the opposition get their own.
Let me tell you my stand on the Lpr politics. I don't believe in any politician now. I won't lie to you. Okay. You know what I'm doing now? For me, I'm strong. I have a strong Christian faith. What I'm doing, I'm praying God send somebody. I don't know that person, but God is right now. In fact, the whole issue of Liberia, the only way I can tell somebody for free, the reason why we are going through is because we have lost sight of what the Lord has done for us. We have God outside of whatever we are doing. Our political life, our political decision, God is not part of it.
Okay, so before I let you go,
if we allow God to get involved in our political decision, whatever, Liberia will continue to just restart the politician and will never go anywhere.
All right, so
right now, I'm not supporting anybody. I want to pray to God. God send up a leader, somebody.
I don't know what happened. When you find a person, when you find that person, you should let me know, because right now my niece said I need knee surgery now for praying and nothing not happening. All the people pray, pray for.
God does not work the us. We don't tell God's way. The reason why God sometimes God align us to do what we want to do, so that when we have completed whatever we want to do, then He comes in. But we need to pray. We need to ask God.
So lastly, you think Isaac ran out of patience, so he has to take that decision? He was out of patience.
No, but I think Isaac, he left the party ever since before. Even
he ran as an independent and all of that.
I don't think he was talking about patient. Whether he had the second thought, he was going to the party. When he left, he was kind of assessing the situation and then asking to see whether he can redirect his life or whatever. So it was not something like he just left and you ran all the patient. But I think he was trying to assess the situation and try to see someone who could also buy into whatever he valued.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, then. Bye-bye.
Okay, gentlemen, these are all things that are out there. We don't know the inside, the in-depth. I think was that something was talking about D-Flow. D-Flow was one of those that held the pen of now the president, and was campaigning and going out now. He's now going. This is how divisive and nasty the politics of Liberia it looks like. He's now going after Vi now. And if you grab that in a technical sense, where is this guy coming from? He's not part of this system. He's coming down here he didn't start from the bottom. He going to the top, because we know what it means when somebody is a chief of staff or the big guy. At the end of the day, that person becomes maybe minister or so. So now they will start going after Vi too. And there will be some people that are going to be initiated. Let's go to our own Samuel Jackson, and then I'll come back to you guys finally. Mr. Jackson, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good. Welcome.
Good. And good evening to the panel.
Thank you.
Thank you. Am I on?
Yeah, you're live. Go ahead.
Okay. The question you asked is why Isaac, was left out. I just wanted to throw, some points in there. If I'm not mistaken, Professor Zaro, hit on some point. But here is what happened. If we give it a good term, we say, it must be a policy difference.
Okay.
And if it's noticed, and which, Professor Zaro would say that when they were forming the government initially, there are a lot of things that went on that brought in, hard feeling that make other people, they never have a voice. If you can remember the first week or 2 weeks, there were a couple of appointments that were made. And if you notice, if Professor Barrow would be kind enough, he would I said make a comment when they appointed, I think, Pisota, also, the lady from the port,
Coffee Brown.
Coffee Brown, fine. And he said that he couldn't understand why these appointments are being made when they had a qualified, sedition, who were already being earmarked to be, and to take on this position. And what I said he was looking at was that looking at, and qualified, personnel, like Professor Zauro, like him, like other people who were sedition.
Zuckerman, Jared Body.
Jared Body. But then all of a sudden they start hearing names like Eugene Falcon. And you understand?
That was one of the worst things they ever did. I just couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe it.
Yes. And that annoying, as the young man was saying, as long as it is not Georgia way, he's going to go out, he will support you on that. And you understand? But like for instance, what Professor Zaru was saying was somebody made comment was, oh, if he can win Riverside. Let me tell you what happened. President Weah didn't support that Isaac when he was running for Riverside. In fact, he was the only person who went to Riverside to George Weah mother's town.
Yeah, I interviewed him. I think he was under his campaign. We had a little chat.
In fact, he went to the town and he took, a phone and called me. He said, in the, George Weah mother town, the place where we never wanted Ben. That is all the way going all the way to Nimba and Grand Gita area there. That's where it is. And,
that's plot.
He was the only person that went there. George Weah never went there to support him or to campaign for him.
So quickly here, do you think the statement or the comment by VAR got into to disconnect for them to disconnect with him?
Pardon me?
I said, do you think the comment by him while they are appointing these people, his initial comment, reaction following the appointments of mentor Peso Sedita and other folks, that comment, you think that what got in trouble with the establishment?
Before that, they have no differences.
Okay.
They have no differences because what happened was his feeling was that all the party chairmen they have from from the diaspora and from Molu, they could meet together and come to say, well, let us put a think tank group together to see how appointment will go. But those appointments were coming directly from from the president and also from Maggie.
Okay.
And if you notice, and Molu does not have that much power to appoint. Even his recommendation fell on the side.
Oh,
he never have that power.
Okay.
Now, but let me just go to the point that why the appointment of Bar at this moment by Cummings, I consider it to be a political strategist, and that move is a great move. And here is one reason. If you notice, the UP struggle to win the whole of the Southeast region. They struggle very hard. That how come Boyka having to lose that election? And if Boyka will be thinking that because he got that vote and he will want to run again, I will tell you the fact the Southeast region is very, very tough for him to run to win. So what Cummings is trying to do is to position people that are strategically from these areas to see how best they can interact with the Southeast region now. And that is one of the main points. Because for you to win Riverside, you need somebody who is from that area who will be close to connect. You need somebody from Sando. You need somebody from Grand Gita. And you understand? These are areas that you have to make sure that you connect yourself with presently, or else you might eventually have problems to win.
Okay.
So it's the fact that let me bring people that have connection to those places. And that is one of the reasons they are doing that.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. That's our own contributor on the line from the liberal state of Massachusetts, Mr. Sam Chie Jackson. So, gentlemen, let's come back to this point here. We're hearing all of this here. We don't know here is we have to validate this information here, and hopefully we have the chance now here. Do you think VAR want to break the gap here? Will he be persuasive to bring some seditions, those who also now sitting on the fence and who are unhappy, who are not being incorporated? Because that's what I said, Pa George. All of these people that are shouting, chanting, at the end of the day, they need something. Nothing for. And you remember what Gaddafi said? There is no successful revolution without bloodshed. If you want to have a revolution, if you want to have a change, all of you who initiated that change, some will be left by the wayside. That's it, literally. Now, do you think VAR get that persuasive? And do you think ANC will? Because ANC too, forget it, it's a fragile institution. 4, 5, 6 years ago, I had a chance to interview Kwame Clement. You know, Kwame Clement was the face of the ANC. Professor Warman Red, former Warman Machinini, the party global chairperson, passed away 6 some more years ago. I had a chance to talk to them. All of a sudden, we saw the emergence of Alexander Benedict Cummings. Every political institution, they have some hardcore highlander there that they don't like to see certain people to be part of certain thing because it will not work. Now, on the surface, we see it politically, but how long will this honeymoon last? Will we see some other ANC people say, but wait a minute, this guy's not been part of our revolution. We started some back ago. Liberia are not noted for incorporating, bringing new faces who are not part of the struggle. Where is VAR coming from now to be so within the proximity of somebody potentially they believe to going to be the president? That's not going to work. They have their town crier D-Flow picking it up now. And very soon it's going to be a sporadic. It's going to start spraying around. Now, D-Flow soundbite now want to play within those who support the CDC, who are strong hardcore of the support of the CDC. They're going to pick it up and they're going to run with it. Friction going to develop in the interim. And Cummins solved the banana leaf. I don't know how he will stand. Will he stand attention, guys? Time is running out.
Yeah, Mr. So I gotta go. But I wanted to comment on that quickly. It's already started. It's not just from what D-Flow has been saying. There are other prominent ANC members that have gone on Facebook, on social media to question why would Cummins appoint Isaac Tuba when there are other qualified ANC people who for the job.
Yeah, we'll go.
And those are the threats to the democracy of Liberia. Those are a real threat to the democracy. Those are the people who don't even understand the Liberian people. You see, when the ANC was organized, the ANC was organized behind the dream of Kwame Clement running to be president. I don't know whether you guys know it.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
So, but then Kwame, he recognized that he didn't have that connection with the people of Liberia that he had like 30, 40 years ago. When he went back home, I'm sure I heard some jokes. I don't know whether it's true. That he tried to introduce himself. Kwame Clement used to be on the radio. We're like, who? So he didn't have the connection. And so that's how Cummings, and before Cummings came in, they were thinking about another person. I won't call his name yet because I know the whole story. But it was a thing about bringing another person on the ticket. And then Cummings came on the scene and was willing to, put up more funds. And so he got the job. Now, those people who initially started the ANC, they don't connect with the Liberian people. The people Cummings carried in with him to Liberia, they don't connect with Liberian people. Look, like I said, I have to go, but there's a good friend of mine, and I'll call it, there's a good friend of mine. I wouldn't say his name. We were classmates in the 4th grade.
Is he in Liberia or is he in the USA?
Yeah, he's a top engineer. He works here. He's a member of the board of director of a very popular university in the United States, a big football school. He's a member of the board of director. And this guy left Kakata ever so long, my good friend. And when Cummings went to Liberia, Cummings took him to Kakata as a means of connecting with the people in Kakata. In fact, he was the one who actually introduced me to.
What's his first name?
No, I will not go through that. I won't tell my friend over there. He was the one who introduced me to the hotel that when I did my visit to Liberia after so many years that I lived in. He was in that same hotel. And this family who owned that hotel, it's a well-known family. I know the family. They knew me. In fact, the hotel is built next to where we had our house. And so when I went there, I told them, I said, oh, but this guy was here a few weeks ago with Ellis Cummings. Did you not see him? People said, who? He was here? I said, yeah, he was here. Now, the battle I'm trying to make to you, these guys don't connect. So even though Cummings told him to go and connect with Kakata, people didn't even know him. And so a lot of Cummings people do not have the connect. They might have the technical know-how. They don't have that grassroots connection that Isaac has. And that's what Isaac is going to bring to them. But here's the thing. And Liberal Progressive, think about it. The more the pushback, the more reluctant it will be for physicians who are on the fence to make the drum over. So that means, we'll be keeping our people. And I'm telling you, they're not smart enough to say it. I've always said this about Cummings. Nice guy, good resume, The people he has around him.
Is he strong? Is he firm in making decisions, Komis?
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah.
But the people you have around him have this elitist mentality. Like Liberia is this doomed area. And God had brought them from the heavens to go to Liberia and descend on Liberia and save the country. When you take that kind of mindset and give it to ordinary voters, they will not vote for you. And when I go to Liberia, when I'm campaigning against commies, that's what I do. I just share with the people some of the things that people say. And I have a lot of sound bites from them that, Liberia needs them. We don't even need the country yet. Yeah, we don't need it. We have good jobs in America. Why waste your time there? Why waste your time?
Okay.
Those are the kind of problems they have. But I have to go. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Professor. Okay. You see, the professor strategically put this here and he said, you know what, I don't want to deal with the laborer because he's going to be coming back and going to delay me. So that was a strategic move on the part of Professor. But something, Mr. Toe.
Yes.
You love being called Mr. Toe. I used to calling you Toe Time Man here. Now, this sort of resentment, bitterness within us as Liberian, when it comes to the game of politics, it may not. He never started with, oh, why he not can now? Where he come from now? He follow place.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of thing. D-Flow, he's going to have a non-stop. But this, I know him. He's going to have a non-stop. And I'll give him the fair share, maybe to bring him here. Let's see what he can do, because he's one of those who sold George Weah, now this president. And every day he's still apologizing.
He said, only 3 months he left.
In 3 months. That's not even true. Yeah. And it come back now, the somersault. Is this going to be a potential problem? And I also see the talk show, the supporters, be it the ruling party or the opposition, they all too lack of tolerance. They are unwilling to receive people, and certain people feel they are the owner of these people. So they become very like King Kong. They don't want to give chance. They are being in the vanguard. People are cussed the hell out of them. So when they see somebody infiltrating the system so much, so quick, they become very defiant, bitter. They will not come directly, but they're going to use other people to get at these people, and then some sort of a little bit hold back here. Where Vi will stand that with Cummings, if his folks push at him, will he withstand that?
Thank you, Mr. So I think it's a little bit a concern for me, to be honest with you, because and I'm not ANC.
That was not your position here initially. This is what makes you so unstable. 1 minute you on the side, another straight. Some people paraphrase the question. Now it concerned. You were never concerned initially. Why got you concerned now?
Well, I'm at the point of trying to explain it. Like I said, I'm a little bit concerned, to be honest with you, because like I said, I'm not ANC, but I'm speaking the fact that I love the collaborating political party, and I consider myself an opposition because I'm Liberty Party USA. Now, Mr. So, here's what's happening. If ANC group in tune with what is happening in Liberia, they will welcome this young man and even use this opportunity to dislodge some of those sedition that are sitting on the fence. And here's the interesting thing that you have to pay attention to. Whoever they're going to come with Mr. Tupa on this side of the political aisle, they are going to be intellectual. They are not your CDC battle cry, sow. They're not the kind of sow people he gets behind. He has the people, intellectual sedition, smart sedition people, and they are not angry because they were not picked. They are not jealous because people pick other people. That's far from it. Those type of sedition, the intellectual sedition, they're working, they're making money. What they don't like is that the fact that they have established some sort of ideas from the beginning, and this ideas now is being pushed aside. So it's an idea to benefit Liberia. It is not an idea that were put together to benefit themselves individually or as a group here in the diaspora. So if they feel and they believe strongly that this idea can still be implemented to help Liberia, they will do everything possible to sell it to whoever candidate that will want to take that. And because of that, the fact that they have now this particular group that I'm talking about, the intellectual sedition, that are now on the face of it might be singing, yeah, CDC, but at the bottom of it, they are not. They're getting ready now to jump off of this bad worker. Now, interestingly, if ANC, those who Professor made reference to here earlier that are now going to be using it, CDC themselves, and now you will say something to said that inept CDC, the turning sedition, those that have no good knowledge of how to govern, they're going to use this to try to put a wedge between ANC hardliner and Professor and Tokpa, so that Tokpa will not have an inside track. Well, I got news for them. Tokpa already have an inside track, and Tokpa is a very smart person. And Cummings understand that if Tokpa is coming on board, those who gonna come with Tokpa from CDC are the smartest and the brightest of CDC that are left over, that were pushed aside because of ideology. Those people are smart, and they're gonna come along. And the idea they're bringing, as I stated earlier, is not for themselves. They have formulated those ideas and they put it together to benefit Liberia. And those ideas can still be applied to benefit the Republic of Liberia. And therefore, we welcome our brothers and sisters, and we will do everything possible for them to be comfortable in this collaborating political party. We're not going to push them aside. And those who come in here and you think you're part of the political collaboration and you want to call Asset Valuable as an outsider, then you are the outsider, because your idea is not benefiting the Republic of Liberia. And what we want to do and what we're trying to do here is not to benefit ourselves, but to benefit the Republic of Liberia and move the country forward, Mr.
Okay, we'll try to reach out to D-Floor here to see where his argument, whether his talking point is being politically motivated. Somebody pushing it. Pa George, do you agree with the Liberal?
The portion I agree with him, and let me say this, Mr. So. I talked to somebody inside of the ANC hierarchy. Comey is a strong decision maker, and he's very determined. He's very, very calculated. So this move, you may have some few disgruntled one, but that decision taken by Comey, he will surely stand by and he will fully support Asif Atuba. And let me say to those people who they say, because I want a default argument, why Comey did not take somebody from within the ANC. This is the low mentality of how we have been doing business in Liberia. Because, and this is the same to do the current George, why George cannot bring people from outside. But if you're making that argument at the same time, you're saying, oh, why just making that take someone from inside again? How those argument balance?
Yeah, how you reconcile that? Yeah, competent Liberians who are not seditious.
Yes.
So George is not incorporating them because they are not they didn't go through with the struggle on him. So how can you flip now to say you're supposed to bring your own? Yeah. I think that's a good argument.
So this is the problem we are having. So D-Floor is telling me that if Joseph Walker become president, he will not bring anybody from outside. It got to come from within the party.
They're bringing something through.
But suppose there's somebody outside who is qualified and is not part of the party. You cannot bring that in to help to develop the country. Yeah. Joe Biden, and he appointed the late Senator McCain as ambassador.
You can't have that done with the Liberian politician.
So this is
your phone folks going to slaughter you overnight.
Because D-Floor now supporting Boaga now, so this is now he acting like he loves the ANC, the guys are there now, like he's speaking on behalf of them. Why he didn't take someone from inside? That's the kind of acting like you see the dirty politics in Liberia. He's supporting Boaga, but now he's saying, oh no, you know, ANC, I feel for you guys. Commission are taking someone from inside because you people got qualified people. You see the kind of acumen, the dirty politics that is being played.
His patron will be Samson Tall. He's a strong fan of this Boyka as well.
And let me tell those ANC
I don't know why he desires his own Liberty Party.
Let me say this: those ANC people, those who say who they are alleging that they will be disgruntled, let them come on their Facebook so we can do that acumen. Because what if they are so if they have the popularity? Whether they're based in America or based in Liberia, if they had the popularity, what happened to the 2017 election? When Mr. Comey pumped all that money in, gave them car, what did they do? What did they bring to the ANC?
Even the collaboration, right? The current collaboration, Samson told you can stretch your eyeball from total enrichment. I don't care. The collaboration right now, he is the guy, he's the financier.
Yes.
He's a financial strength behind the collaborating.
We don't need both you and Mr. So. We do not need send the right. Please let me say this.
Can you wait for Mr. George? Can you wait for Mr. George to speak, please?
I'm not allowing you to come there today. You're not going to get it today.
Good.
These guys sat down there, come and spend all that money, 2017. How many seats did they win? Provided in cars, 25,000 or some of them. If they were so popular, what did they bring to the ANC? Now, if this man is going out there to recruit people who will help him or help the institution to move forward, then you sit down there and says you want to question his decision, you are qualified. If you are qualified, what did you bring to the table in terms of election and politics is number? What did you bring? Or what have you brought? So these folks.
George, you can see Joseph Boyka, Euro, who does not have no political standing. He's in this whole thing to protect his wealth, to protect his business, so that even when he defraud government, when government goes after him, it will be like a witch hunt that they are hunting opposition. That's why they are all in it. That's why he.
Mr.
I'm going to give you. What they are doing now, they are successfully pushing Kume. They have identified Kumis. They are put a stigma on him. He's not with us. He's not one of us. He's a stranger. But his finances are not stranger to them. So how can you have an effective collaboration when you see this like this?
This is a line. This is what they're doing. They want
if it's going to be just between you two tonight, then go ahead and have a fun. I will be quiet, and the both of you can go on back and forth and have your fun.
The course of the program is during my time. I'm on the floor. I have the mic.
Oh, Jesus. So I'm done for the rest of the evening.
Yes, hold your peace. This is the thing they do.
You are the last speaker for the day. You are the last speaker for the night. So tomorrow when you come a program tomorrow, we're talking. Go ahead, Pa George.
They want your money. They don't want your ideas.
They don't want your idea.
This is what the problem comes from. If you say you want to be the leader, you must spend that money. You cannot be say, "Oh, I'm broke. I want to be a leader. Then I want to have my say." No. So the thing to these guys, I know therefore you're going to support Joseph Boyka now, but I hope the ANC people must sit down and think twice. Not that cheap propaganda you're coming up with to tell people, "Oh, they are qualified people within the ANC." No. It will say we want the country to develop. You want to tap the minds of the brilliant and smartest. You got to go beyond that circle. You got to get out of the bubble. And this is one of the best things that Edison Ackerman did. And let me tell you, the situation, you will watch it. As a Vatoba will bring more qualified people around. And some decision will follow.
Okay. Some situation will follow. Let me give the liberal chance here now so he will have a little time here. I don't know what's going to be the downsides politically if he's bringing these people, and maybe Kuman begin to give them the spotlight politically to get.
What I want to say to both of you, what I want to say to Mr. So and Center Right, we don't need you guys' advice into the collaborating political party because you are not part of us. You guys are the outsider. We don't. You guys are the outsider.
Voice and Benana Euro voice are using.
Look.
We are not part of. We are not part of them.
Yeah.
No, you guys are the outsider because we're the political opposition. You guys are the outsider, so we don't need your advice. However, we will take it like Mr. George was saying, and I say Mr. George because what he said I like. If I don't like what he said, then he's a center right, and I'm just being frank as you. So, but anyhow, as Mr. George was saying, the ANC people will allow that, and we know our brothers and sisters will allow that, so they understand the dynamic. Now, here's one thing I want to leave with you two here to understand. Go on front page Africa. The United States government or the U.S. Mr. So, we're talking. Are you going to play music?
Sorry, please.
Okay. Okay. So, the United States government have warned Joseph Boyka, according to front page Africa, to be careful with people they align themselves with. Wait a minute. There's two sides to this. If the U.S. felt that Dr. Boyka, the real Dr. Boyka, was not capable or were not going to have any kinds of inroad in this process, they weren't going to talk about it, but they felt and they know that this is the man who is coming to redeem. And if you're coming to redeem, you can't come with people that have excess baggage like Samson Toe and the rest of the people. And so they're warning him to leave people like Samson Toe behind because Samson Toe has excess baggage. And
Can you call the real name? This is Liberia, but we're not in secret here. Call the people that have.
According to the paper, they say Benina Ure because Benina Ure was.
Why you be afraid? We are in the thing here.
I am a liberal. You don't just throw people names out. You don't just throw people names out because of conversation's sake. You be careful how you do it because you don't want your name to be thrown out there as well. And I'm being very careful. That's all it is.
Is a Nina in the paper? His name wasn't mentioned.
Yes, it is, but that doesn't mean that doesn't give me.
Why you want to cover?
Why
you try to cover all here on this?
That doesn't give me the right to say this is what it. Mr. So,
why are you talking about it? You're quoting the paper and you.
I'm quoting the paper, but I have the right to leave out what I want to leave out. I have the right. I have the right to quote what is in the paper and leave out what I want to leave out.
Our listener in doubt.
I'm not leaving it. Let your listener go to the front page Africa and they will read it. So let center right. Will you please let me finish my statement here so I can take a leave of you both of you here.
Yeah, hold on. I want to the time. I'm already out of time here.
Because of course, the liberal is speaking, so you're out of time. Of course, we know your trick. We know your trick. But on a very serious note, Mr. So, I think it's a wonderful show. I think this is going to be my parting statement anyway. So let me just conclude here. It's a wonderful show. But as usual, I have to sit here and face all three of you and try to be the counterweight on you three, the three idea, extreme idea. You coming here and saying Tea Party and professors backing you as though Tea Party, Newt Gingrich, the man who was married and was still have another girlfriend. This is a kind of person.
Goodness. Is that how you're going this evening? Is that how low you're going this evening?
Mr. So let me finish. These are the people that you guys were trying to say these are the model of Liberian politics. We don't accept it, and we're not going. Honorable Cummings and Dr. Baka. Dr. Baka number one, Honorable Cummings number two, and because Honorable Cummings understand the Liberian politics and understand the dynamic of the Liberian politics, and therefore I want both of you. Because you guys are very smart. We need your ideas, but don't come into our political operation and try to be divisive. We don't use terms like you're not part of us. You guys are stranger. I can use that on both of you, but we don't use it on any insider, especially Honorable Cummings, who is so wonderful with the collaborating political party. When he was chairman, the collaborating political party was recognized all over the world. He was so wonderful, and he's still wonderful, and we like him. But we're saying to you, stay out of it.
Well, Mr. Joyce?
Look, let me say thank you and to the management and staff and to our wonderful listeners, especially it's about useful and Nigeria.
Tanian Silva, there are a few of them, and Oman from Australia, that they are on the top 10 fans of LPR. They are maintaining that position for quite a long while. I always try to do the tracking. Then I want to say a big thank you.
I want to say thank you to all of them
and all the other listeners as well.
Yeah, and to Mr. Toe. But let me say this: ANC people, back off of ISIS appointment. Those branches want you people better back up. We want the country to move forward. Those leaders must be able to tap people from all backgrounds once they are qualified. Thank you.
Okay, the Liberal, I know you were firing back, so you can't say it this or restrict your freedom or your speech. Was that your last closing statement or what?
I think so for tonight. I think so because you two have ambushed me. And I wasn't quite prepared of it, even though I'm a liberal progressive, but you two have ambushed me. Mr. George is telling me the hosts are giving me time, and therefore I will utilize the time to the fullest. I mean, this is just something that I was not quite prepared for, but that's okay.
So many will put you in the situation that you couldn't.
Yes, of course. You
want to be more Ali. You want to be more Ali number 2 now on LPR.
No, you sanctioned me and you give the central right all of the time. And he's talking and you're praising him. How wonderful his speeches are. But when I'm talking, then it's time to go. So I understand it.
Okay, what elaborate as usual. I like I said with Senator Boto Kanent of Bapolu should have been here, but there was a cancellation, so we're going to see and give a second chance to have them. We have reached out extensively to most of these major political. Even the invitation is still out there to Cummings. We also reached out to Isaac Vi. That led to his decision making, and so what exactly that we need to know, because this sort of inconclusive politicking in Liberia. I started this. I persuaded people. I talked to people. I brought in somebody. The person is presiding over state resources, and then maybe I was not accommodated, and I decided to walk out here. We need to know, and let's see whether they are apologetic, because they're the one that introduced this guy to us. So why now? What happens? Why they didn't fix the system before even leaving from there, or was it fixed and say, okay, I've settled A, I decided to go? What the liberal progressive from Saxton, Sacramento, Totan to Morovia, Morovia to Sacramento, and a man from Bon County here based in Atlanta, Georgia, our senior contributor, Mr. Amos George, and of course the professor was here. George Widows just sent me a message here. He said he's going to be coming for you, the liberal. George Widows, for the CDC.
They stand no chance. CDC stand no chance because they're going down. Yeah, but George Widows can leave Australia and come here. Instead of come, he's much closer. Wait a minute, Australia. Yeah, well, okay, whatever. He can come here and we'll help him.
Is it what happening now before we go? Is the case with the CDC, is it concluded now for 2023? Is that a fair exception?
This, so I predicted this some months ago. I said 2 years before the election, George Weah and CDC, at that time they were dummy. I mean, they were just sitting down doing nothing pretty much. And I said they would do their best to come up with 1, 2, 3, 4 impact projects. And then they would tout those projects as being the success of their 6 years term in office. Now, what they didn't realize was that Liberians are also sophisticated. They know exactly what they're doing. So now you have Dr. We are going around, breaking ground, putting holes all over Monrovia, so to speak. And, breaking ground, going from one point to another, breaking ground.
What do you mean by putting hole all in?
Yeah, I'm an opposition. I'm an opposition. I got to put my own words in it, but but to be honest, he's breaking ground.
He's causing erosion. That's why you're trying to cut.
No, they be breaking ground, and they're going to construct these projects, put this structure up, and then he would tout those structure as being some of the things that he has done.
Is the opposition cognizant of that?
Of course, we're going to tell the Liberian people Monrovia is not Liberia. We're going to let them know that. You can put all of the structure in Monrovia, but you're not putting structure in Grand Gila County. You're not putting structure in Bon County, Nima County, all of the other sub-region, all of the counties.
Here, because we're already out of time. If for discussion purposes and just for the conversation to wrap up here, if for any reason, if the CDC manage the rubber field, I don't know what is the timeline on it, and some kind of, I understand they are on the Ganta schedule, whatever way. Yep. If those projects or if those roads are properly rehabilitated, do you think they can come back to make a case in the midst of all of this hulubalu that is hanging behind it? Can they make that case? Because the Liberians are electorate too, there's too much uncertainty in there.
Mr. So there are one or two things I will continue to say. I will ask the Liberian people, your economic life today, 5 years, was it, can you compare to that of 5 years? Which one is better? All the projects, they can be building. But Mr. Todd, there's one thing, there's no jobs. J-O-B. No job has been created under the CDC-led government to impact the people in the rural area.
And Mr. So, before you go, Mr. George just hit it. If they're smart, all of these projects that Dr. We are breaking ground for, you will put those projects, the construction of those structures, put them in the hands of Liberians to do the true construction. They will spend the money right back in Monrovia. If you give those contracts to people outside, they will take the money out, and then Mr. George's question will be relevant.
Yeah, and that's a very. I don't know how strategic they are with that, because when there are a lot of good Liberian technocrats, because when you bring these people in, and their husbands, cousins, uncles, nephews, they are all going to work. Women are also in the field and coming home at the end of the week or day and coming with a huge fat plastic bag. And now, like, oh, Papa coming here, like he can't, because when you see the children start saying that, like, every time you come in, your hands shrinking, nothing holding your hand. One of the smarter one would be there, Papa coming, and the lawyer said, but like he can every day, he come in, he not even bring anything. But when they did that, I think there would be some big political dividends. Okay, guy, you want to say something before we go?
Yeah, Mr. So, in this country, one of the most developed countries in the world, what do the people talk about? Jobs. Today, jobs. With all the infrastructure we have here, the very important issue is job.
Is the opposition has adequately explained how they're going to create jobs, as they said?
That's one of the things that frustrates me about the opposition.
Samson Toll, yeah, he's one of them.
This message.
He's
not ready yet. We will let it Liberian go.
No, Samson Toll, tell your people.
Look, Mr. George. I have a binder. I have a binder here.
What is in a binder? What is in a binder?
On false error of CDC and their and their inept behavior on how to run the country. They're all in here.
This is one of the subjects that I expect the opposition to be propounding every day. Yes.
They don't do it. They are talk show.
They are talk show. What is the job? This man is breaking the rule. But what is the job that you have that you can send your child to school, that your children should not sell cold water? What is the job? What is the health structure? What is the schools?
No plan. They do not even have one. Just how the CDC did to us.
Every day, challenging jobs. Well, yeah, you break the rule. But what is the job? How many Liberians you have employed that will be able to send their child to school?
Well, the million jobs you promised is still coming, Mr. George.
Yeah, so where is yours that you want to position yourself for?
Oh, we will let you know soon.
How you going to manage the size?
We will let you know soon, very soon. We will get you
let you know. The same thing CDC told us they are doing the same roadmap of the.
But we are different from CDC. CDC has no plan. We are plan.
There's no plan. If the plan can be unveiled, you want to keep us in darkness.
We have leadership structure. We have what they call leadership structure.
I don't see
not like any other organization. We have leadership structure.
I don't see any
structure speak for us.
I don't see it. CDC get red bearer, you get black bearer, Solidarity Brigade, or you add another color, blue bearer. Because Jefferson Code,
you can say whatever color you want, but we're not going to kowtow to your threat or anything else. We will wait until our structure.
Okay, gentlemen, we're going to leave it there for today. And,
thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to start discussing that. Let them tell us how they're going to downsize the government, where the job going to be coming from. I want to see them getting out of Liberia to have these conversations, talking with the international community, making this case to ECOWAS. But when Samson Toll sit down here and some of their packers, and you telling me, George, we are wearing $10,000 shoe, this and that, as far as I'm concerned, it's insignificant to me, because you're not adding anything to my life. You're just trying to reawaken to make my pressure to go up. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And that's how we're going to leave it. I want to thank you so much for today's program, Mr. George, the Liberal Progressive. Thank you. And to our many viewers and listeners, subscribe to Liberia Public Radio, Facebook, and YouTube, and also our Twitter handle.
Go, 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 go. Go, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give your heart to Jesus. Let him take control.
This is how we're going to cut it this evening here. As soon as we get a new date for Senator Boto Canent and Representative Julie Weah of Lofa County, we try to go into the political minds of our leaders. That's the first branch of government, and we're going to be aggressive on that campaign to talk to them, to hear them directly their agenda for their constituencies, for the people that they represent. Do they really have some sort of conversation? We need to give them the fair share, not to just indict them or adjudicate them without having a conversation with them.
I've seen let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you,
do not allow anybody to define your destiny. Be able to take charge of yourself, define yourself. You can better disclose your own identity.
They say you will continue to be a prostitute. They say you will continue to be a beggar. You will not marry. You will not build your own.
Well, folks, that's how we're going to draw the curtain down here this afternoon. Time check here is 6:38 Eastern Standard Time, right here from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio.
Just let it go. Jesus will change your story.
How many of us can let it go? Very few. We let it pay back the Israeli. You punch me, I punch you. We got to let it go. We have to do the best to make sure that Liberia reach where it's supposed to reach. Until then, I'm Afonso Ziansot of the Liberia Public Radio. Thank you for sharing your Sunday evening, morning, afternoon, depending your location with us. And by God's willing, same time, same stations, we're going to be here. Your tweets, your comment. Don't hesitate to send your suggestions as to how we can improve things that we need to do. Tell some of your lawmakers, send us these numbers. We want to talk to them so that you know exactly what they are doing.
Yeah. Mighty blow. Holla. Nobody do.
Everybody, everything's going bad. The situation getting worse. Everybody in the country getting mad. Dishonesty, poverty on the rise. The leaders them making empty promises. Promises for no damn strategies. Yeah, this is better days. Better days, money in the pockets. Oh, after holidays. Holidays only for the bosses. Yeah, there's a better days. Better days, money in your pockets. Holidays only for the bosses, the bosses, the bosses. Oh yo, hey, what about the children? What about the people? What about your families? What are they gonna eat though? Yeah, so Seti and we waiting you. Yeah, so. They don't really care about you. They don't care, my people, it's true. They don't want to see you break through. The whole country's getting confused. Corruption, no questions. The country's going in the wrong direction. Leaders high belly, many mentions. We don't know where the money come from.